Yes, hello tradies. It's season 3, episode 28. We are brought to you by the great people at St Andrews Beach Brewery, the new brewery at Melbourne Park, the only place to be before a game at the G this season. And in a couple of weeks' time, there will be 2 prelims at the G, one involving Mason Cox's Collingwood and the other involving Mitch Cleary's Geelong. Welcome to you, Mitchell.
Hello, Sam. Just on the brewery, I had a few texts on Friday night saying you couldn't get in. It was a line-up to get in.
Oh,
so
boy.
that is, you talk about September performers.
Did they drop our name?
No, I don't think that works too far.
I think Tim and Carla have a special sort of queue for tradies. I think.
So when you talk about September performers, it sounds like the brewery is really taking it to the next level. So it was heaving there on Friday night. More than 85,000 people for Geelong Brisbane, which is a great crowd. And then you'll get 90,000 plus to 2 prelims. So
Amazing.
The brewery in prelim week is the place to be, as well as this week if you want to watch 2 semi-finals.
Yep, the first one of which will be at the Adelaide Oval. Are you going back?
No, I'm heading to Brisbane for the Lions and the Suns.
I thought you and I could have another, press conference at the Adelaide Oval together. Having said that,
It was great to see you.
No. Now wait, because I've been holding on to this. So Mitch obviously with good reason. Mitch has always had a crack at me for not going to press conferences, which is fair.
You have been. I've seen you at 3 in the last 6 weeks, which has been a pleasure.
We were sitting in the bowels of the Adelaide Oval waiting for Craig McRae to come in. It was me, Mitch, and Josh Gablage from AFL.com.
And
Best
about
looking.
5 other local journos.
Yeah, but I was talking about the ones that I know.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. My mates. And with about 10 seconds before McRae walks in, Mitch goes, I got to go. And he hands me the Channel 7 microphone.
It was good to see it back in your hand. Just looked good.
So I had a choice. I either started the press conference holding the Channel 7 microphone
First question.
and risk termination from 9, or I had to put the 7 mic down, and I chose the latter.
Actually, funny enough, so I had to run back to the rooms to do my segment, sort of a news segment with
That's what you were doing.
Rui and Haim. And they're in my ear saying, you're on in 6 minutes. And then I'm weighing it up. McRae's press is going to last longer than 6 minutes.
Yep.
Especially when you're in the, press there and you're firing questions left, right and centre. But one of the camos mentioned, he goes, Sam was bamboozled for about 10 seconds there. I didn't know what to do with the mic.
I was bamboozled. It's true.
So it's good to keep you on the back foot. It's been an eventful week, hasn't it?
Has it? What's happened?
Oh, from all the reports, you've had a run-in with Kane Corns. My nickname for Kane, it's funny. I just call him Feuds because everywhere he goes, he seems to he can't even walk 3 metres at the G without getting into an argument with someone.
Okay, so there's no feud. There was no confrontation. I had no idea what was happening when that came out. So
what happened? So this is
hang on.
Friday night.
Have I ever said a negative word about Kane?
Not that I can recall.
I love Kane, have always loved Kane. I worked with him for a long time. Huge amounts of respect for him. I had no idea what was happening when that story came out. So do you want to clear this up? Okay.
So you came on this show last week, for those that might have been living under a rock, and said that Mason Cox is a top 3 ruckman in the AFL.
That's not what I said. If you want to quote me directly what I said, I'm happy. That's not what I said.
What did you say?
I said, I think this is when we were doing Just Quickly, was it not?
Yep.
Wasn't in the main body, but that's fine. You say what you say. And I said, I think that an argument would exist where you could say that he's a top 3 ruckman in the comp. I went too far. I clearly got carried away. I'm happy to say what I should have said. I got carried away. That's fine.
It's fine.
That's fine.
I was just setting it up.
Yeah. Now, I walked into the box on Friday night at the G, and it's me, Lloydie, and Jimmy Bartell.
Crewed up.
And my phone rings, and it's Kane. And I didn't know that Kane was next door in the SEN box. So he's ringing me through the glass. And I answered. I was like, hello?
And for those that haven't been at the G, you can basically see what everyone's doing.
See through.
It's like a zoo. You can basically stare at people through the glass.
And Kane said just 2 words, Mason Cox. Now, we're just about to do a pre-record, right? So I said something along the lines of, well, yeah, it's, your take is embarrassing. And I was like, I got to go. I got a pre-record. And I hung up. Right. Now, if that's a confrontation, Kane hasn't seen too many.
And that was it.
Yeah. And here's the thing. So, because I went back and listened to what he said on Monday, him and Kingy about Cox, a bit of fun. But obviously they'd had a crack at me on some segment on the Friday. Now, as you know, I don't, and this is not me being like, I don't listen because it's not a good show. I didn't hear it because I wasn't listening on Friday. I don't have social media, so I don't get sent any of the catch-up stuff.
There's so much content to be across every single word that's said.
I thought Kane was just talking about our historical fun argument about Mason Cox, because remember there was an episode on Footy Classified where he said, I don't think he should play AFL again. He's a VFL player, and I said I disagreed, and that went viral. So I thought he was referring to a historical argument, and I've always just said, well, mate, your take on Cox is embarrassing.
Yeah.
And this is the day after he'd come into a final and they'd won. So that's what I thought it was. Now, all of this could have been cleared up by any one of many people making phone calls to me, which didn't happen. So a little bit of fun. I have nothing bad to say about Kane.
So was this written off yesterday? I didn't see it. I think it was chasing Melbourne coaches around.
Yeah, I saw that. That was very fun. But I think people know me well enough now that if I was ever going to have a crack at someone, I would do it to their face. Yeah. I don't need the prism of radio or a podcast to do it through.
So when I heard that Kane and you had an argument, I thought it was Kane blowing up because you'd taken all the limelight on Seven back on Thursday night. I thought Kane's a big star recruit.
That was it.
He's in his own backyard
for me.
For crows and pies, and here he is post game heading off, going home, and you're taking the limelight on Seven. Well, my phone has never lit up more. So you and I in the press conference, you've just interviewed Quainer. I'm in the Crows rooms, interviewed Jordan Dawson, and I'm getting all these messages. Why is Sam on Seven? And we saw last on Footy Classified, for those that missed it. You're wandering around in the background, sort of just a bit aimlessly, which is it can be done
like a lost dog.
In those rooms.
Funny.
Very, very, very funny. So I thought Kane might have been a bit flat that you were taking all the airtime on Seven.
No, I did. So I did listen to Kingy and Kane. I went back and listened when I was on the train yesterday to what they were saying. And again, I took the Cox thing too far. I got carried away.
Where do you have it now? You said top 3 last week. Where is it?
No. I stand by my argument that what I should have said was that I think that there's an argument that of all the ruckmen in the comp, he would be, for me, in the top 3 ruckmen in the competition that have an impact, whether they're in the team or out of the team. And I think the only 2 that are ahead of him are Gawn and Grundy. I'm talking about purely impact on the structure of the team. Now, last night, I got home from Footy Classified. I've stayed up late. I've done the work, okay? So I've gone back through his entire finals campaign.
What time did you get up this morning?
I didn't know. I stayed up late. I do it different. So just bear with me here. Mason Cox, 2018, prelim final v Richmond. I think it speaks for itself. Don't interrupt me here.
No, they're just saying people have been asking for nuts and bolts to return, and we've got it. Okay. It's landed.
2018 prelim final v Richmond. He kicks 3. Mason Cox kicks 3. Alex Rance still has nightmares. Richmond still have nightmares. That game basically speaks for itself.
USA chant around the G.
The grand final against West Coast. He was one of their best players.
In the third, he had a quiet first half from memory, turned it round. 7
big grabs. He kicked 2. His second half was amazing. 2019, he misses the GWS prelim through injury. Pies lose. 2020 elimination final against West Coast. Kicks 3 in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Those 3 goals were 3 of Collingwood's 12. Pies win by a point. Pretty important. 2022 qualifying final against Geelong. He dominates the ruck, has 23 hitouts with 46% game time. Doesn't play enough forward. Tom Stewart absolutely dominates across halfback, taking intercept possession after intercept mark. Pies lose by 6.
Gary Rowan, was that the Gary Rowan game?
I don't know.
So he's only played 46% of game time. He's had 22 hitouts.
23 hitouts. Didn't play enough forward. Semi-final against Freo has 20 hitouts and a goal. Pies win.
Mm-hmm.
Prelim final v Sydney.
Yep.
Pies are down by 4 goals early, getting absolutely murdered in the middle. Cox swings the game in the second quarter, then goes down injured. Game turns again towards Sydney. Pies lose by 1.
So would he have played the grand final that year if...
Can you just let me finish my points here?
No, people need context.
2023 qualifying final against Melbourne. Now, here's where it gets interesting. He absolutely dominates Max Gawn in the ruck. He's one of very few players in the last 2 decades that has been able to dominate Max Gawn. Has 34 hitouts, 6 clearances.
It's a pretty good going.
Pies win by 7. Prelim final against GWS, kicks the winning goal after dominating the ruck again with 27 hitouts. Grand final Now, his last quarter in the grand final of 2023 should go down in folklore. It doesn't get talked about enough.
Was he in the ruck when they got that clearance, Dacos to Degoe?
It's a great question. I had it written down. So everyone, when you play that replay, always plays the Dacos handball to Degoe, who sieves it from 50, right? And it's a great kick and beautiful. If you take the replay back 8 seconds, the ruck craft from Big Coxie.
It's ruck craft, big boy.
Unbelievable. Craig McRae rucks Cox for the entirety of the last 15 minutes when the game is on the line. So when you look at that final series, they don't win the flag without him. They just don't. 2024, now here's interesting. This isn't a final. 2024, Link will remember this. Round 12 v Freo, Pies are 26 points up. Cox goes off injured, right? Game turns. Game ends up as a draw.
Yep. Is that where the ball was handed back to the umpire?
Yep. Pies lose 5 of their last 7 and miss the 8. 2025, going into a qualifying final, Pies on the slide. Would we agree there? Absolutely, like just falling apart.
Struggling to score.
Lost 5 of their last 7 going into a qualifying final.
Mm-hmm.
Who comes in? Coxie changes the structure again. Pies win. He's into another prelim. Now, I've stayed up late. I've done the work. I would say that the discussion around Mason, and it's largely because he's American, just gets a little bit disrespectful when they don't look at the facts. So I'm happy to cop the grief. I'm happy for people who don't have the courage to say it to my face, to do it on other forms of media. That's fine. That's fine. That speaks more about their insecurity than it does anything else. I don't have a dog in the fight here. I'm just looking at the raw facts. This guy at 211 centimetres impacts the way that his team plays in big games. So, Mitch, I don't know if you've been reading the online column, but I snuck a movie reference in there.
Scoop in September.
Last week.
I don't miss it.
And it was from the Jim Carrey movie Lie Lie from the late 90s. And it was about the truth shall set you free, right? Which I stand behind. But I think now, given that we have explicitly detailed Mason's finals record, the people that are hanging on to trying to bag him for whatever reasons that they'll have to dig deep into their soul for. It reminded me of this scene when Jim Carrey, who has basically been cursed that he can't lie, is trying to convince himself that a blue pen is red.
Red. All right? Now focus. The color of this pen is the color of this pen is the color of the pen that I hold in my hand is royal blue.
So is that everyone who bags Mason Cox watching him palm it down to the steel sub on Thursday night?
I think the people that are convinced, that have convinced themselves that Mason Cox is not a good finals player need to get the notebook out and they need to get a pen, right? And they need to try to write it down and see if their wrist will let them.
He's going to want to play a good prelim, that's all. So
yeah, shit. Like, if he has 4 disposals, 1 hit out and gets subbed out and they lose, I'm in trouble.
So my only question is, why have they taken so long to play him?
That's a question for Collingwood. I don't know the answer to that.
So like they obviously they know better than us.
Do they though,
Well,
Mitch? Do they? Because going into that game, they lost 5 of their last 7, and Darcy Cameron was getting absolutely butchered in the middle.
So maybe there was this ploy all along to just keep Cox fresh for finals.
Sure. Let's go with that. Now, of your intimate knowledge of our game, can you name me another handful of ruckmen who have that sort of impact in finals?
Over the history or in the current game?
Recently.
Look, without having done the work.
Obviously, Max Gawn.
I haven't gone and spent all hours looking at this. Max Gawn, you can think of that prelim against Geelong where he kicks 5.
Mm-hmm. It was great in the grand final too.
Yeah.
Grundy?
Probably wouldn't have had the impact of Cox there, would he?
No, but probably
In
not.
finals.
But I'm saying
he's got the body of work.
Yeah. Is there anyone else that comes to mind? Link, happy for you to dive in here.
I'm just thinking from a biased point of view, but Aaron Sandilands didn't win a flag, but I'm just thinking of someone who could change the structure of a team.
Yeah. Sandilands is a very good one. Because I agree, when he went out, they really struggled.
Ben McAvoy and David Hale had some big finals, Brad Ottens, but we're going back a fair way now.
Yeah, Ottens put on one of those great finals. What final was that? Was it a qualifying final? No, it was a prelim, wasn't it? Ottens went to work. Again, I'd have to go back and do the work. I just think...
so he keeps his spot for the prelim?
So people can make this personal. That, like, go after me all you want. That's fine. I'm a big boy. I can wear it. But I'll stick with the facts.
I did say to Mason in the rooms, this might have been when you were, walking around the other side. I said, top 3 ruckman. And he sort of pretended not to know, but I think he knew. I think it had hit his inbox.
Did you see him on social media over the weekend? Tradies Top 3 podcast.
Did he say that?
Yep. He commented on a post saying Tradies Top 3 podcast.
Oh, he's well aware of it then. So you dressed up as him to your silly Saturday.
Yes.
With size 14 boots.
16s.
Were
I
they?
think they're 16s.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Where'd you get them from?
No comment.
Were they from Mason?
No comment.
Please tell me you got them from him.
No comment. It's a good day. Great fun. What it's like to be 22 again.
Just clarifying, he keeps his spot for the prelim?
Well, hang on.
Well,
did you not listen?
I'm not picking the team.
Did you not listen? What, you think that they're going to go through all of that and then drop him?
So as you heard,
if they drop him,
Dan McSay's had a shoulder.
If they drop him for the prelim, I'm boycotting Tradies. I won't turn up. You'll have to find another. You'll have to find another host.
So we suffer.
You'll have to find another host. I will not come in.
Does he get another contract for next year? Trying to bring it back to trades?
I think he has to now.
Because he's 30. How old is he?
Has he triggered another contract?
Well, that's the question for you. So he's 34. He'll be 35 by round 1 next year.
I think he's triggered another contract.
Right.
In all seriousness, if he wasn't at Collingwood next year, do you think he would be on an AFL list?
Maybe he could be the Clark Keating and someone just keeps him ready for September, given what you've just outlined.
I know that they're getting your man Rowan Marshall, but the Cats have been famous for using guys to pinch hit at low cash.
Yeah.
Like it would be very pragmatic of Chris Scott to be like, well, we'll use him for a year.
Yeah.
We'll try to win another flag and use him for a year.
Yeah.
Brings the ball to ground, Mitch.
Yeah, the side bottom goal.
Oh, it was a thing of beauty. It was a thing of beauty. And now the big man plays in another prelim at the G. Anyway, close the book on Cox. Where would you like to start from a trade perspective?
So Sam Draper, he's off to Brisbane.
Oh boy.
You reported this probably 10 weeks ago. Then you brought us the information that he'd had a late phone call with Matthew Nicks. So the Crows were sort of back on. But he's landed on the Lions.
This was done a long time ago, I think.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was. I think
in his mind,
in his mind, yeah.
So the way it was put to me yesterday, and I thought of tradies the minute this person told me, his partner is a big pull to Queensland. So I think Sam was very open to every possibility, but his partner has been big on Brisbane, and that's where it's landed. So as we've always said here on the Tradies, we've been year 3.
It's the Jules Neal effect.
So she was the reason Lockie went to the Lions. Is that what we're saying?
Well, I think Brisbane,
because she was a hairdresser in Perth, Jules, wasn't she?
Yeah, I think it was more than hair. I think it was might have been like a hairdresser /
apologies to Jules.
Nail spa.
I'm underselling.
Yeah, I think it was the whole shebang.
Yeah.
And from very early on.
Do you reckon Jules Neal will listen?
It'll get back, Link. It always does.
What are you saying? That the partners don't listen to tradies? I guarantee you this will get back to Lockie and Jules. Guarantee you. They sold her the Brisbane dream as much as they did Lockie.
Yeah. Well, Sam Mitchell must have been listening to tradies for the last 3 years because
he is a big tradies listener.
Sam and Lyndall are very big on the whole package now. They were big on the Josh Battle and the partner and the whole shebang.
I want to get to the Hawks at some point.
Yeah, so Draper is off to Brisbane. wouldn't shock me if Oscar McInerney, who's got a year to run his contract, finishes up at the end of the year with the body.
I think he's finishing up at the end of the year.
Well, you said it a bit more explicitly. I wanted to give it a bit more.
You were trying to give yourself an out.
Well, this season's still going. He might still play in a flag.
He might.
He played well.
He looks sore though, doesn't he?
But he played well in the VFL a week or two ago.
Yep.
Unlikely. I think they'll go with Fort, but you just never know. You know, we didn't expect Big O to go down in last year's prelim, and then Fort came and did the job.
Good point. Great point. Another great point.
So I didn't want to just write off Big O just yet, but you've gone bang. The question for me or Draper is the compensation that Essendon will get. De Koning and Oscar Allan are both turning 20 or both 26 this year. Draper is a year older.
Yep.
So I reckon if Draper was the same age as Allan and De Koning, Essendon would be well and truly alive for first round compensation or band one. But because the extra year, I reckon that might just hurt them a little bit. So the three factors when it comes to compo are the length of the contract, the money in the contract, and the age of the player. So if it is 5 years, which we expect he'll get to Brisbane, over 800 plus, that'd have him in the conversation as band one.
Right.
But I just think the extra year older he is over these other guys maybe pushes it into band two as the end of first round, which is a big difference for Essendon because it would be after their first round pick, which is, pick 4 or 5, or end of first round, which is going to be early 20s by the time the other compo picks come in academy and it gets pushed out. So Essendon fans are sweating on that one. But I think, the lure of Brisbane, the partner, being the number one ruck, whereas at the Crows, they've committed to Rolly O'Brien, I think it was all going to be a bit difficult.
Yep. And Brisbane players knew about this a long time ago, which just goes to show how long it takes for clubs to work on players, doesn't it? Which we've seen many examples of.
And Brisbane's salary cap, people are thinking, well, how are they fitting all these guys in? They've got Allan coming, Draper.
Yep.
They're having a ping at Ridley. Well, if Starcevich goes, if Archie goes and McInerney does retire, that gives them a bit of cash, plus the Danaher money.
Your man Starcevich.
Yeah. Just got my weekly mention in for Brendan. Still hasn't signed yet.
Do you guys have like a yearly dinner that you sit and talk about?
Never actually met him or spoken to him.
Never met Brandon Starcevich. I can't find it hard to believe.
But I am going up to the Gabba this week, so maybe I'll make it.
Can you get a selfie with him?
I don't.
Ask him for
I
a tradie
did see
selfie.
you dapped up Jamie Elliott in the rooms.
I said hello to Jamie.
Yeah. And then you gave Houston like a little with the elbow, like, how are you, old mate?
No, that's not. That's partly true. It's partly true. That I've never had more feedback about. The feedback from people that texted through was that if there were two people in the world that we'd never thought would be mates, it would be you and Jamie Elliott. Now, I don't know what that means, but
here you are bagging Sevens coverage all year and you just want to be part of it.
When have I ever bagged Sevens coverage?
You back you said Thursday night footy's not a big draw card for you.
No. I was bagging more the fact that they continue to put shit games on.
Oh, that's the
I've
AFL,
never
not
bagged
Seven.
Sevens coverage.
Good.
Love Seven. Love you on Seven.
Great.
Love Chris Jones.
We got there. When I did see that vision, do you ever been at functions where you're like, got to walk from one side to the other and find someone and you're like, fuck, are people looking at me here? Like,
So again, I only realised about 5 minutes in, after being a lost dog for 5 minutes, I completely forgot that I was on not one but 2 different live coverages. And that was awkward.
just on Draper.
Yes.
Or do you want to?
No, go.
Essendon now with the ruck. So they got Nick Bryan, Lockie Blackiston, Vigo Vicentini. Does leave them a little bit exposed in the ruck.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do they need to look at something there?
Not Coxie.
Wasn't he almost? Was that your story?
Yeah.
That they looked at him.
Well, it was.
Was it you or Mick Gleeson from memory?
Yeah. Collingwood.
I've got this weird warped memory of trade stories that just bob up and they go, and then didn't Ralphie have a crack at you because it was
Who?
Sam?
Oh, sorry. No, I thought you were talking about someone else. Yeah, that was. I think from memory, Bucks was having a look around for a new home for him.
Yeah.
And they found Essendon and Adrian Dodoro and Essendon, and because his manager, Cox's manager is.
Well, it was, I reckon it was TLA, but now it's Pickers.
Yeah, okay. But
I think it was Rammer at the time.
That makes sense.
From memory.
That makes sense because old Essendon men. And they were behind the scenes doing the deal, and then I got wind of it, reported it, and I think the deal fell apart because who was rucking for Essendon at the time? Oh, this is going to kill me. Anyway, Essendon didn't want to make it look like whoever was rucking at the time was going to get pushed out, and the deal fell over.
So it was. Did he meet with him?
Yeah, he went to the club.
Yeah, right.
But didn't they say...
Tom Bellchambers?
Yeah, that'd be right, Bellchambers. But Mitch, was it you or Tom Morris or someone followed up on the report and because he went to Tullamarine.
But it was for a kids clinic or something?
It was for a kids clinic or something, and they completely hid behind it. Oh, he wasn't here to meet us. He drove out to Tullamarine because he was here for a kids clinic as a contracted Collingwood player. Okay.
It's like Joe Danaher was at Tom Harley's house just to catch up as a mentor.
Oh, one of the great misdirections that was. So, Mitch, it leads us to Zach Merritt.
Yes.
Who I know everyone's, like Essendon supporters get really upset when we talk about it.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
They came last week. Jeez.
Didn't they?
But just reporting what Zach is telling everyone.
So has it moved in your eyes?
Since last week?
Yeah.
No, not since last week.
Okay.
But he's well and truly weighing it up.
Yep. So he'll have to force a trade, right?
Yeah.
If it's going to happen. Essendon aren't going to go shopping him around and do a Melbourne Clayton Oliver.
I think he needs to test the waters to know if it's possible first because he doesn't want to be left on the shelf. He doesn't want to.
But so this is why.
Doesn't want to do the Petrarca where you come out and then he's going to look silly.
Yep.
If he comes out and formally tells the world he wants a trade and Essendon don't do it because he's got to walk back in there as captain next year.
As Christian Petrarca looked silly for shopping himself around, went outside of Paul Connors and Robbie D'Orazio and sort of did it himself.
Yeah.
But the point that I was going to make about Zach is that, and we've talked about this a little bit, is that he's managed by Tom Petroro.
Yeah.
And so Tom Petroro and Paul Connors, who are the two biggest play managers, the thing that you get from having a big guy like that is that their contacts mean that they can quietly go to clubs and sort of say, look, can we actually do this deal? Because then I can go back to Zach and say, you can pull the trigger on this. Or I go back to Zach and say, look, Zach, if you come out and say I want out, I can't guarantee you, mate, that I can get this deal done.
Yeah.
Let's say he wants to go to Hawthorn. Well, Hawthorn don't have the picks. They've got their first pick, which is Carlton's, but we don't think that we can get it done. So just hold fire.
Yeah.
Whereas a less experienced manager with less credentials or less contacts may just say, oh, mate, you want out, you owe Essendon nothing.
Yeah.
You've been a stalwart of that club. I'll get you out. But then you're left not being able to do it. Once the player gets out of control of manager, makes it harder. So this is why having a high quality manager in this situation actually matters.
Yeah. And not saying that TLA or Tom Petroro do this, but there's always that threat of if you screw over a big management group,
we'll screw you back.
We'll screw you back in years to come.
Yeah,
Or the free agent coming out in 12 months' time. Geez, you wouldn't want to screw us here because you want to sit at the table when he's making his decision.
So if you're Hawthorn and Sam Mitchell, now I know they're prepping for a semi-final. So they've got three players on the red light, green light board at the moment.
Sam Mitchell is a bit like Chris Scott. I reckon he can walk and chew gum at the same time.
Okay. If we could just have a quick reminder of the red light, green light.
Red light. Green light.
Haven't played that song in a while, Mitchell. Merritt.
Green light.
Butters, Petrarca. Give me a 1, 2, 3 for priorities.
Oh, for priorities. Butters 1.
Yes, I think we agree there. Now, who have you got 2 and who have you got 3?
Merritt 2, Petrarca 3.
I think also that is true.
That's boring.
It is a bit boring. Having said that, Merritt's going to cost you a lot more and it's going to be a lot more time consuming. Petrarca you could get cheaper and Melbourne will pay for some of him. Attractive. And he plays forward.
Yes.
I think that's something you have to weigh up because Butters seems less likely than likely.
Especially now that Nazai is not coming. The new coach would have rocks in his head if he's traded him this year.
Josh Carr.
Yeah.
He's going to have a tough first year, I reckon, Josh.
Geez, it's new footy boss doesn't help him either.
Problems at Port. Lose Hinkley, lose Davies. Problems.
Well, Hinkley not so much because we knew that.
I think problems. Merritt's going to cost you 2 top 10 picks. What's Petrarca going to cost you?
Yeah, 1 top 10 pick.
Is he going to cost you that? It cost you a first round pick, isn't he?
Well, yeah, maybe. But if you take on the full money,
Would have cost you a lot more last year.
yeah. But if you took on the full
I don't know
money,
if I've made this point clearly. I feel like Melbourne should have traded him last year.
top 10 pick, if you take, if you
Take most of his money. Hawks have the cash. It's less of an issue. But if Melbourne pay for half of it, Hawks.
sorry, if Melbourne pay a bit of it, you could give up a top 10 pick. I've still got Merritt ahead of him.
Are you worried about Petrarca's body?
We got through a full season.
Not in the same way that we used to seeing Christian though.
No.
That last game against Collingwood, there's some bits of play where the tractor and the bulldozer that he has been, it wasn't like that. It's like ever since the lung injury,
Yeah.
it feels like to me watching him, he's been playing like he's been wearing a protective guard, which again, I can only imagine what he went through and the pain that he was in. But it would be hard to suddenly, in the most physical game in the world without any padding, to suddenly put your body on the line.
It would be in the back of your mind. I'm
he did.
I'm more inclined to give him a full preseason. It was a really tough off-season last year for him in so many ways with the body, everything that was going on in his head around the trade period.
Yep.
A lot of that was self-inflicted, mind you.
Yep.
But if you give him a full preseason and run at it this year, because even up until the preseason games this year, it was still touch and go about his. Remember, he broke a rib in the preseason this year.
Yep.
It was touch and go whether he's actually going to be in contact training and then play in those first preseason games. So I reckon a full uninterrupted preseason, we'll see a better Christian Petrarca next year.
Okay.
So where's Merritt at in your mind?
Well, I think I've been pretty consistent on this for most of the year. I think it's time to go.
Geez, that would leave Essendon in a world of pain. They're already in a world of pain.
But can I be honest, Mitch? They already are. They're there.
Yeah.
And I don't.
But could you just picture round one next year without Merritt, without Draper?
Yeah. Well, they're Richmond. They're Richmond this year.
Without the top end assets, but they're going to have.
But they're going to have the picks.
They're going to have the picks. Yeah.
They're
in a weaker draft.
Yep. I think it to me as an outsider looking in, it's reached the point where Zach's asked the question too many times. And if you're asking the question...
Has he though? Or is it more has he actually gone in there and asked the question?
No. I'm saying he's asking the question to himself and people close to him.
Yeah.
And I think as captain, if you're asking yourself that question, there's your answer.
Yeah.
Again, this is not me. I'm not saying how dare a captain walk out on his club when they're like this. I really see both arguments. Zach, over several generations of different coaches and administrations at Essendon, feels like he's been led down the garden path. Well, we're going to get here, we never did. And he wants to finish his career playing in a team that's qualifying in September. I don't begrudge that. But at the same time, Essendon and Brad Scott have a duty to the other players on the list and they have a duty to their membership to say, well, Zach, if you don't want to be here, mate, like we completely understand, but you're the one contracted and we're not going to shop you. You need to go and get it done.
The other thing here is...
I think it could be a win-win for both parties for me.
If they do trade Merritt, what does it mean for the other, as you just said, what the other players on the list? So Ben Mackay, right, he's 27. He's arrived, he turns 28 this December.
Yep.
He's arrived on the knowledge of what he thought at the time when he was weighing up Essendon and Hawthorn.
Yeah.
Now, if he had his time again, look at the list constructs on both of those.
Very good point. The good news for Ben is that he got out of North.
I'll leave that. Mason Redman's 28. Kyle Langford turns 29 in December. What do these guys do? They re-signed in the knowledge that this club was heading towards finals. If you trade Merritt, you lose Draper. All of a sudden, you potentially are in something close to Richmond. What do those guys think?
Well, it's a great point that you raise, and it just goes to show that there are no guarantees in footy, as there are no guarantees in life. And we learnt that with Taranto and Hopper going to Richmond.
Yeah,
things can change really, really quickly. And so you have to be careful with your decisions.
Ridley's 27 in October.
Yep. Speaking of decisions, should we talk about Carlton and Charlie Curnow?
Yeah. Has this moved since we last spoke?
Feels like to me, making calls around this, that really he can only go to Gold Coast. That's how it feels like to me. Is it
not Sydney?
Well, Sydney are really interesting because they've basically closed the door on every player that's been brought up. So Sydney have a history of selling the dream to the player and then not being able to get the deal done. And, only have to say the two words of Joe Danaher to go back to a recent example. Like they literally had him to the CEO's house. Well, I think he was head of footy at the time, Tom Harley. And sold it to him. We'll fix your body. We'll get you playing in finals like Essendon haven't been able to. Come up here, be out of the limelight. And then on trade period, they couldn't get it done. And it ends up at Brisbane a year later. It sounds like a similar thing with Charlie Curnow. And then every player that Carlton has loosely asked about is like, well, no, we're not trading him. We're not trading him. No, we're not trading him. Absolutely not trading him. Oh, okay, well, stop meeting with Charlie Curnow who's contracted then if you're not willing to do the trade.
You got to meet with him before he goes to New York, and then you give yourself 5 weeks to try and get a deal done. Yeah.
But I'm just saying if it happens again, you've now had two of the best forwards of the modern era that you've sold the farm to. You sold the dream to, sorry, and then haven't been able to get the deal done. So that's interesting. But I like the way Sydney do business largely because they're like, we don't answer to anyone but ourselves.
It was really interesting hearing Tom Papley on his podcast last week admitting that
T-Pap,
if Curnow did come, we'd have to lose some of my mates. Like he was of that view and he was already talking like that. So the players are getting their head around it.
Yeah.
It's just a really delicate one for the club to work out who to go to and when to go to them. Because if you go to them and they say no, then you could put that player offside.
Mm.
A lot of these guys want to be there when Curnow arrives. So going to contracted players, because all the players of interest to other clubs are contracted right now at Sydney. So it is a really delicate one.
Yep. So it's my belief that the only real trade that Carlton would entertain for Curnow involves Jed Walter.
Okay. And if you listen to Gold Coast, they're not going to be trading a boy from their own backyard.
So can we just play out this conversation? Because I find this really interesting. The value of Charlie Curnow versus the value of Jed Walter. So let's play this out from both sides.
And they're 8 or 9 years apart in age.
Yeah. So Curnow's interested in going to Gold Coast, right? Gold Coast sort of say, well, what do you reckon? And Carlton say, well, he's a 2-time Coleman medalist. It's been potential to be the best player in the competition, really. We want Jed Walter. And Gold Coast go, no, you're kidding, aren't you? Like, this guy's an absolute freak. Like, he's going to be a 15-year prodigy for us. Absolutely no way. And Carlton say, well, you say that, but he's not in your team.
Mm.
So the question is, how did it get to a point where Jed Walter wasn't in Gold Coast team? Interesting question. And really, it's around Jai Farah, isn't it?
Yep. It was Farah or Walter as the third sort of tall. Farah's playing the hybrid sort of Kalachi style tall.
And from what I can gather, the Gold Coast match committee got to a point where they were saying, well, we just got too much youth in our forward line. Because what's Ben King? He'd be 24? 24?
He's 2 years off free agency or a year off free agency.
Who's not a baby, but
24
is a 200-centimetre player kicking 65 goals. It's still a lot of pressure for a young key forward. And then they've got Humphrey, who's young, and they've got Walter. And so Jai Farah, as a 28-year-old, comes in, and I'm just trying to look through his record here because I think he kicked goals in his first game back, did he not? Yeah, round 21 against Brisbane.
That was the game when they won by 11 goals.
When they belted Brisbane in the last Q clash. He comes in for Walter, kicks 3, and it's like, well, we can't really drop him now. So Jed Walter has found himself out of the team. So here's my question to you, Mitch. 28-year-old Curnow, 19-year-old Walter. Let's just say, for argument's sake, a trade was going to happen. Is it Curnow and something for Walter, or is it Walter and something for Curnow? Because one's proven but older with a history of knees. The other one's raw and 19 but may never live up to his potential.
Mm.
Where are you on the value here?
That's a bloody good question. Because Curnow could come in and do it for 3 more years.
And win them 2 flags.
Yeah.
Or sorry, be part of 2 flags.
And we think Walter's going to get there, but he's still unproven.
Totally.
We think he will.
He's got that. Walter's had those raw moments, a bit like a Cadman in a game where you go, oh, shit, he could be anything. But Curnow sort of turned that into he was something.
All right. I'm just going to go, this is just without any more than 20 seconds of thinking about this,
That's what we do on this pod. We just go.
it might have to be Curnow and just something else
Yeah, Curnow on a third rounder.
because of the Curnow's body.
Yep.
If this was Curnow in prime time, Curnow just won another Coleman and he was uninterrupted, you'd probably be saying Gold Coast have to come to the party with something else. But he has had 4 surgeries in the last 12 months. He's had at least 1 ankle and 2 knees. I don't know what the 4th one was, but he's had 4 in 12.
Is it possible that because of the differing needs of the two organisations, that the value of Curnow to Gold Coast equals the value of Walter to Carlton?
Yeah, that's a fair. But how does Michael Voss go into next year out of contract without Charlie Curnow and a 20-year-old Jed Walter who's unproven?
Thank you for leading me into this. They've
So-
completely and utterly messed this up, the Blues.
Well, the coach must be sitting back going, am I just a dead man walking here? If they were to trade Curnow?
It's quite remarkable, and it's a great question. So you know how, and you speak to a lot of list managers, right? And CEOs will tell you this off the record as well. I really enjoy how clubs have got to the point now where they say, you know what we're sick of? We're sick of players who sign the dotted line, they recommit long term, and then halfway through that deal, they turn around and they say, oh, we want to go. Right? Here's what I would say to that. Don't let them get to a point where they're thinking about wanting to go. That is your duty. That is your role to your members. Don't turn around when shit hits the fan and blame the players, right? Because that's easy. But the harder question is, how have we let it get to a point where a 2-time Coleman medalist who we brought back from the brink of, career-ending injury and who loves the club and who has best mates at the club and whose older brother played at the club, how have we let that get to a point where he is considering going to a state where he is not from
Yeah.
just to get away from the joint? They're the harder questions, Mitch. And alongside of that is Silvani wants to go as well. De Koning wants to go as well. Is Cripps looking at going back home to WA?
Is he?
What? I'm just asking the question. These are the harder questions. And I just wonder, is Carlton asking, are they asking those questions deeply enough when they're looking in the mirror at night?
Well,
I
I'll
don't
ask you
know
this.
the answer to that.
If they'd have moved on Michael Voss, would Charlie Curnow be in the same
I
predicament?
don't think so. I don't think so. If Carlton were about to sign John Lemire or Nathan Buckley, would we be having this conversation about Curnow wanting to leave? My gut feel is no. But again, I can't answer that.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of coach. I think there's a bit of body stuff too. I think he's got a few queries around the 4 surgeries, how his body's been handled.
Okay, interesting.
I think he's a bit frustrated. Yeah.
Right. Because they did bring him back. They got him right in the end. I mean, it took a long time.
Yeah. Should we talk Saints?
Yes, please.
So 2019 trade period, they go and get Dougal Howard, Paddy Ryder, Bradley Hill, Zach Jones, and Dan Butler.
Okay.
I think we can all acknowledge they overpaid for Bradley Hill to get him back from Fremantle, back to Victoria.
Yep.
And they overpaid for Dougal Howard at the time because they were desperate for a
Yep.
pillar in defence. At the time,
What's happened to Butler?
he's a bit more of a fringe player now.
Wasn't he really good for a little
His
bit?
first year, he was All-Australian squad
Was he?
Was he?
at the Saints, yeah.
Link
So that-
with a bit of info.
That's how that trade worked at the time. He had an interrupted pre-season. So he had
This
a
year?
bit of Achilles ankle thing, yeah.
He was a really good player for a time. At a
So-
time where the competition's screaming out for high-quality small forwards.
So Ryder was 29 as well when he moved in that 19 off season. But he was pretty serviceable, more than serviceable for the Saints.
I think more than serviceable.
yeah, played a really good role in tandem with
Good rucks like that hard to find with Marshall.
Marshall, yeah. And then Zach Jones, he's played the 69 games for the Saints.
Still going.
Still going, haven't made a call on him for next year yet.
Yep.
He's in one of those players in limbo. So that's, 5 players I went and got. Fast forward 6 years later.
5 more.
So you got De Koning, Silvani, Liam Ryan, Leclerc, and I think they're after a mid of some description. So whether that's Sam Flanders, Cam McKenzie's come up. Don't know if anything will move there, but they're after another genuine mid. to go with those guys. Are we just going to my question is, are we going down the same path as that 19 group that sort of got to finals, never really contended?
Great comparison. Great question.
Are they going beyond that?
Feels different to me. Probably
they've
higher quality of player coming in.
Yep. They've overpaid for DeConing. I think we can all acknowledge that, but they had to do that to get him out.
You need to.
To turn his head,
Yep.
they had to go through the roof. I know you won't agree with this, but I'll say it. They've overpaid for Jack Silvani at more than $800,000 for a 28, soon to be 28-year-old who has played 13 out of the last 47 games. The market out of the clubs dictated he was more like a $700,000 player over 4 years. They've gone $100,000 extra and a year extra over that.
Yeah, but they're getting it for nothing.
They are.
And they got heaps of they
are signing him till the age of 32, 33.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. But they've got money to spend.
He's finished top 10 in the BNF once.
Yep. They've got money to spend and they've found themselves a key back and a first choice ruckman.
And what I will say, just to defend St Kilda on that, is they've front-ended a lot of these deals. So the money for guys like Steele, Marshall, will have already been off the books by now.
Yep.
So they've had the cap room to do it. They've set themselves up to go bang in this off-season.
Yep.
Liam Ryan, Leclerc, well, the jury, I don't know how many clubs you speak to, but a lot of clubs have queries on Leclerc.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
He's only played the last 5 or 6 weeks for the Giants in a regular sense.
He's a throw at the stumps.
Yeah. So you got Aliir, Taru, Wilkie, and Silvani all on the same back line. I think there's a case now to send Taru forward.
The Viking.
Yeah. Because all four, do you need all four on the same back line?
Do you know what the Saints have got now, though? And they haven't had this in a long time. They've got a handful of players that you'll pay money to go and watch.
Yep. I'll give you that. At least one.
They've got eye catchers now. They've got Naz.
I would go to the footy to watch Naz.
Yep. I'd go to the footy to watch DeConing. No?
Yeah. I don't think he drags me off my couch to
I'd go to the footy to watch the Viking.
Yep. The Viking with another pre-season eye catcher. Yep.
And Leclerc has the potential to be that. Leclerc has the potential to be that game-breaking intercept defender. I get that there's lots of question marks. Now, he may not work, but he has the potential. And Winhager's staying.
Is he?
Yep.
Okay. My calls on that yesterday were that he's still weighing it up, and if he was to leave, it'd be Melbourne.
I think
still a good chance to stay.
I think you'll find that Marcus Winhager will agree to new terms with St Kilda.
Okay. On a 4 or 5 year deal, because
I don't know that part.
It was 4. They might have to go for one more.
But in the last couple of weeks, he has done the full 180. I think you'll find he was absolutely out the door and going to North.
Was he?
Yep. Then Melbourne had a good look, and I think you'll find that Ross and Sauce have turned him back.
Okay. Just on the back line, next year, Crows play Saints, and it's Riley Thilthorpe. Let's say Taylor Walker goes on for one more year, and Fogarty. Who gets the matchups? So who goes to Thilthorpe? Who goes to Tex? Who goes to Fogarty?
Good question.
Because what I would say is the back line is probably made up of 4 second bananas. You know, is there anyone there that can actually go? Dougal Howard might play, so he's probably the matchup for Thilthorpe if he's in. But he's been given a 1 year deal. It feels
Who
like
would you play Wilkie on?
Probably Fogarty.
I think I'd play Wilkie on Thilthorpe. No?
Thilthorpe would monster him in size, wouldn't he?
But he's going to monster most people in size. Someone's going to have to play big. Silvani would probably play on Fogarty.
Fogarty or Tex. And you want the Viking just floating.
Tex might be a little quick for him.
Just always an A grader.
Have you come around to that yet?
Nah.
Okay. It's getting slightly more embarrassing every time he plays a big game like he did on the weekend. Because the 2 A graders for Adelaide were the only 2 players who kept them in it on the weekend.
Well, I didn't think Dawson was huge.
Oh, I thought he's important in key moments. He was
Don't get me wrong.
well held.
I think Tex has had a fabulous career. I just don't think he's an A grader in 2025.
Tex's shoulder's very, very sore. Like, actually kept them in it in game 300.
Yep.
Left foot, right foot.
He's a very good player.
He's an A grader.
I don't think he's an A grader. While we're on that.
Yes.
Both shows last night. had a look at Charlie Cameron's form.
Yes.
He's still on the A grade.
He's in trouble.
Yeah.
And it hurts me.
Yeah.
Because he was one of those guys you actually went to the footy to go and watch. Charlie Cameron. Very, very few that could turn a game like Charlie Cameron could. On small forwards, did you see Eddie Betts is helping Bobby Hill?
Yeah. I think Eddie Betts had a big role with the. Did Bobby play in the Freo All Stars game at the start of the year?
You were there, weren't you?
No, I didn't go over.
Oh no, you interviewed Jamar on the way. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep. I can't remember.
I think you did.
Yeah, I think Eddie had a big role in that whole camp, so I'm sure that the relationship probably started then if Bobby was part of that.
It is fascinating that Eddie, who played a lot as a Carlton forward at the MCG in rival games against the Pies, and
helped Geelong
with Tyson Stengel, yep, and was a development coach, and has also done some work with Rankin at Adelaide. At the same time, is potentially helping their game breaker come back for a prelim or a grand final. There's some irony there.
But Eddie's going to be happy whichever way it goes on grand final day.
No doubt. Before we go, Mitchell.
Micro Mitch. So 3 lesser-known players.
It's time for Micro Mitch.
Yesterday, 3 names that probably won't. Well, Ali's on the whiteboard. So officially he's off to St Kilda. Campbell Chesser, your man. I know you were big on him last week when we discussed him. West Coast, he's going to Carlton after 4 years at the Eagles, first round pick.
Well,
Jacob Ware is off to Port Adelaide.
Okay.
The other thing.
Campbell Chesser. Goodness gracious.
St Kilda have just paid 1.7, 1.8 for Tom de Koning.
I was aware of that, yep.
Is the value of Ruckman going to be diluted when the last touch out of bounds comes in?
Can we save this for air raid?
Okay, we'll hold it for air raid. That's a
Excellent.
nice little tease. So I think the value of Ruckman will increase with the 5 on the bench coming in. So the sub will go. I think there's a good chance that you can play 2 genuine rucks more now. But the last touch out of bounds might hurt them. But we'll talk about it more in the air raid.
Talk about it more in the air raid. And just quickly.
I'm going back to an old favourite topic of mine.
Oh, I like it. Thank you for joining us. Tradies, brought to you by St Andrews Beach Brewery, the new brewery at Melbourne Park, the only place to be before a game at the G this season. I'm penciling in the Saturday night prelim to go to the brewery before.
I'll be working.
Well, I'll be working on the Friday, so we might have to tag team. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.